Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Paulina here, a little bit late, a little bit tardy, but nonetheless, I will still make it worth your while. So this is the new moon video for the new moon coming up on the 21st of October, and it's going to be very steady in the last few degrees there of Libra, and it's going to be a very fine and delicious moon. We also have a trine between Mars, Mercury conjunction, and Neptune, Saturn, as well as this Jupiter in Cancer. So it's going to be very, very hard to do what you really need to do. Things are going to be a little bit all over the place. A lot of things are going to be happening for a very global, emotional, romantic, or universal reason. Sometimes there's not enough strength and courage. If things were meant to look like they were going to match a certain result and they're not matching that result quite happily or quite perfectly, don't worry about it. Don't get carried away with this perfection seeking trine, because it's just not going to be exactly what you want it to be, or not going to be how you have imagined or pictured it before. Simply as there's so much going on, there's so much at stake. Some people are making very big laws and reasons for things, because Libra is going to set things right. It's going to be very much about perfection and finding the mega laws, mega reasons, or mega significances with this situation happening between also Neptune and Saturn. So it's going to be very, very hard. Also, I suppose, for me to explain as to, what is going on here, because like what you are looking for versus what you are hiding from are two big different things. Some people don't really have it all together. Some people are lying to themselves and one another. Some people are using chance or using this element of externalized or face value perfection to rule out certain experiences. Some people have wool over their eyes. They have their eyes closed. And it's really, really hard and kind of a dangerous time to say exactly what is going to happen, simply because certain people do not want to care for themselves enough. They don't want to see their situation inside out. They don't want a thorough, solid, secure, conscious result. Some of us are really seeking truth elsewhere, and a lot of people are just walking off the grid, off somewhere, to be in a certain type of light-hearted dream within which they see no wrong. And there's of course going to be a big element of charm and being charming during this time, and yes, of course, Snake loves a charmer, but we are better off in thinking deep and going well behind the scenes and really trying to measure things out before anything happens to us or through us. It is much better that we have a certain message that we're really portraying, that we know that we're portraying, and we're doing it to our best ability. Mars conjunct also Lilith, actually, and Mercury there in Scorpio. So we really definitely want to be in the right and not in the wrong. We have to really make sure that things matter to us and other people, that we are thorough in our work, that we're thorough in our play, that we make the right decisions, that we have pre-booked everything, that we have pre-connected the dots. Things have to be just right. And there's a lot of power that comes from that. So we don't want to do things that are unbelievable, that are like really cheap right now, but then could be really expensive tomorrow. We don't also want to take care of certain things during this time, because they are not a part of us. So certainly have a look if that is happening in your life at the moment. If you are very thorough about something usually, and you really take a lot of time and put a lot of energy into something, and now you've actually started to fade away and have no hope for something or somebody in your life. So significances are changing around. People are no longer finding certain things significant that used to be very solid and significant to them. We do, though, have a beautiful Venus in Libra, which is very forgetful, and she likes to just look at the beauty and kind of the style of life and the externalized factors. So in a way, this wool over the eyes and looking for shallow implementation also of skill, a shallow focus. This is actually not too bad for some of us. So sometimes it is a little bit hard to fit this whole picture together. It's a little bit difficult to look at the results, to look at one's life, or to look at one's palette of experiences. But in some cases, some of us really do not care to see, and thus also this Pluto in Aquarius, this Uranus and Gemini at a trine, and recently they were at a trine to this Venus in Libra. Of course, we are looking for greater, for more, and for the obvious results in our life. Sometimes also a lot of this can hide away under just this kind of a glancing semi-void spaces. Venus is behind the sun, and she just basically doesn't want to see what's actually natural to see and what's actually there. So we do have a big question mark. Are you an expert in life, or are you a novice? An expert will do everything that they can to get things right today. So if you have also been bumped around by life, if you had some shady experiences, if you've also experienced things or people in your life that you may need to really think about. You don't want to necessarily get yourself into further debts. You don't want to get yourself into further sadness, or you don't necessarily want to live a less lucky life. You actually want to come back to the piece of paper and a pen and plan things out and really strictly, strategically align things, because you really don't want to put your foot wrong during a time such as this. But for some of us, in some cases, people are really forgetful. They will sleep through an appointment. Notice if you're doing this, they will forget themselves. They'll forget to do something. It's like a whoopsie daisy kind of time. And notice if you have a lot of oopsie daisy about you, because it's going to really come through today. Oh, what? I was meant to be there at this time. Oh, oops, I forgot. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I couldn't have made the meeting anyway. So we have to basically be lucky. The time is right. In certain cases, things are really lined up for certain individuals, and in some cases, things are not lined up. So also notice if you are not in the wrong necessarily, but you are not in the know, and you are one of those kind of sheep guided by a shepherd. Notice if you simply do not see the forest for the trees, and there is something about you that cannot register things, and if you cannot feel anything during this kind of moon. And also if you are dealing with people that are seemingly extraordinarily naive and can't tell what's happening. Also notice if you or other people around you are not very savvy. It's like how to cook a meal, how to book a house, or book accommodation, how to do the job, how to drive a car, how to stick it out during a difficult situation. There are certain people that will just be dropping off like flies during this time, simply either because they don't want to do it anymore, they don't feel safe in the situation anymore, or they just don't feel any kind of significance or power coming from it. So sometimes it looks like an honest mistake. Oops, this person forgot the appointment, or oops, this person forgot how to do things on the day. But also make sure that you treat yourself and other people with respect if there is any forgetfulness or oddity to this particular time, but trust that there is a certain significance to this, because everything today is significant. We are in a very, very powerful time of snake. Things are very significant. They don't just happen willy-nilly. Nothing is just by mistake or by chance. And also notice if somebody like forgot about you, they double booked, or I'm so sorry, or they didn't respect you, that maybe there is a real reason why that person is not showing up for you. If somebody's not talking to you, if somebody's not open to messaging you back, or is not caring for you, or they have promised something they haven't delivered, just make sure that if you are that person, or if you are the person experiencing a person that has got a lot of oopsie daisies going on during this time, that you don't take it too hard, but also know that some things shouldn't be there. Sometimes a person does not want to look after a project. Sometimes a person does not care whether or not certain things succeed or not in their life. Sometimes a relationship does not matter to one or both of the partners. And this is somewhere where we have to just make sure that we know this is happening. So sleeping for an appointment, not caring, not having enough time, making seemingly honest mistakes is not something that you want to progress with. And also I'm actually at the moment treating a couple of people that are natural at that kind of behavior, and also people that don't have any neurological issues or disorder or any like medical disintegration or anything, but they will say that they do just because they simply want to cover up and make sure that they stay in their reality. They don't want to go any further. Notice if, for example, a person would much rather stay in bed than go out of the house, because sometimes this looks like severe depression, but sometimes that's it. So we have to also talk about this maybe. Some people don't care to progress. Some people would not like to take anything that much further, and this is not about them even. Sometimes it's just about the whole thing, the whole world, or just like how it looks on every angle. So we can't get angry here if you yourself or somebody else that you know is flaking out and is terrible at things and suddenly has a certain type of even extreme failure where you are thinking, wow, how is this person even like functioning? How is this an adult? Just make sure that you're taking your space and make sure that you know what you're working with. If you suddenly forget something, and if you have been exceedingly forgetful of things, just make sure that you know where that's coming from, and maybe you just simply do not care or do not want to know. and it is better to speak about it with someone, or that you treat this, or that you know this about yourself if you are starting to forget, to get lazy, and to drift away when there is actually a really important thing going on in your life. Like, for example, certain things can cost you your life. Like, for example, if you naturally feel like you're drifting off to sleep when you're driving because you get really relaxed and you just feel like drifting away, make sure you don't do this, because obviously it could crash the car and this could cost you everything. So there's something that we have to know about, and also understand if you are looking at something that you want to do and you want to be a part of and somebody next to you does not. Also coupling, we are in the last little while of Libra, and we should really know by now if we are a match or not. And if the person next to you does not feel a match, they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to feel anything, they're not connected, they don't care, they don't touch you anymore, they don't experience any kind of emotions next to you, this is something that you need to know about and realize today. So we just need to know where things are drifting and emotions or energy are starting to go in the alternative ways, or there is not enough hard energy or timeline left. Yeah, so we also know sometimes in these types of days where things have come to an end, it's just whether or not you like it or not, you have to face facts either now or later on in your life. And the best thing basically I have for you is to experience things with knowledge, with grace, with wisdom. It's not just about willy-nilly anymore, although energy is speeding up. We do have their Mars next to Lilith as well, and Mercury. People definitely desperately want something that sometimes can't be done. So the reason for this is sometimes because we have some high-flying results from other people, and it may look like it is nice and easy for them, and it's not probably going to be for us. So definitely a bad time to do something that somebody else has done and you want to repeat their behavior or mirror what they've been doing. It's also very nice to see where you naturally are. Very, very good to get in touch with yourself in terms of your finances, your lifetime choices, where you're actually going in life and where you're not going to go anymore, or where you can't be. So we just have to be very, very wise and meet certain criteria, meet certain principles. Things are a little bit harsh in terms of fact as we get closer towards Scorpio. So it's not just Libra, it's definitely on the cusp there with Scorpio. So we just have to be gentle about this and delicate. We just have to know that it works, and it has to really start off right, because the new moon is an excellent, desperate new moon to start new things if you do it well, you know, so pre-booking flights, pre-booking accommodation, pre-booking things, you know, the choice is yours how you do it. You just have to make it very smart. And here we have a lot of expertise in terms of how people are living their life, in terms of how they're planning things, how they're looking at things, how they are doing things. If it looks good on paper, sometimes trust that it's yours, but very careful with fine print, very careful with how things also are defined and decided between you and other people, or just between you and the universe. So it's not just about me, I want that, yeah, I'm gonna like throw some money here and shove that energy over there, and I'm gonna shove myself around and do lots of crazy things. So we can't do things at a drop of a hat. We can't do things on a whim, although it may seem like we can, because Horse year is coming in soon. So there is this drive and this hardiness to some people's behavior, and it feels like, oh, come on, like, get over it already. I can do what I want, and you know, I can take it to an extreme if I can. So although certain people can take it to an extreme, the reason is because they've been preparing for that extreme. So for example, a person that has been in a job for decades, yeah, they can go to an extreme because they've been in it for decades. A person that, for example, has been doing something consistently, competitively, or for a long time can probably get to the next phase of it, simply because they have made it this far as an individual, and they have tried and they have tested themselves, and they've tried themselves. They have made it out of the previous place or space into the next one. So of course the domineering energies are there as we are going closer towards Scorpio. There is a dominant in this. Sometimes you get a dominant person, like this is the star performer. This is a dominant individual, or this is a human that makes it happen. This is a human that knows how to treat people, that knows how to treat themselves, that knows how to work with life. You know, so we are looking at some star performers during this week ahead as well. So we're looking at people that can take it to the limit, that can do things over that which other people have done. We're definitely looking at expert level experience, and we are looking for that in other people. So sometimes a person is really visible and very believable simply because they are an artist in life, or for example, they're very good at who they are, and they've done everything that they could in their power to claim this amazing space. So here we have a lot of respect for a person who's really good with money, who's really good with their body, who's really good with time, who's really good with people. We love an ace individual. We definitely don't want to see it all kind of like happen at once at the same time. But there's certain people, certain souls that are able to do many things at once. Just make sure that you're not doing them for other people in terms of service. For example, I can cook, I can clean, I'm a great nurse, I'm a super amazing therapist. Like, just try to make sure that you're not doing that kind of stuff. But if you are raising up above, make sure that you're doing it for you and for what you feel and believe is right. And also, it's a really beautiful time to raise as a hero. But it has to be within the dream time that you want to live. So for example, if you're saying, yeah, I can, I know how to do this, but you are doing this to your detriment, like say you are not sleeping, you are working, that's it, you can't have that. Or for example, you are doing everything for other people and you've done nothing for you, we will not go any further with that. So we'll basically have to make sure that although some of these dreams are romantic, some of these ideas and this new feeling of altruism and unity and intrigue is there for a lot of people, and it's very flowery and big and beautiful. We are at the same time looking at quite a big no-no that I'd like to state, which is not doing things in your detriment. So for example, I want to do everything for everybody, I want to do free readings for all, or like I want to make everybody my friend. Just make sure that you are basically not that type of person, and that as you are aging, that you're not burning out your batteries. And you would actually be surprised as to how common it is. Sorry, adjusting. How common it is, how many people in the world are trying to do something for everybody at once. How many people don't sleep at night trying to solve their problems or do their homework or do their paperwork, whatever they're doing, and how little of it actually counts simply because they went against their own nature and the nature of other people. And of course, wanting to go against nature is quite a big thing these days. Like say people wanting to empower themselves by hacking their system, hacking their body, hacking their life. They don't care about it being a given. They don't care about the laws of nature. They don't care about the laws of other people. And sometimes, yeah, that is fine. And some of the time this is very, very bad and can actually end very terribly for certain individuals simply because they have abstained from natural law and they wanted something more. Like, I'm not just doing this, I'm going to get more, I don't care. And a lot of this is about showing off. It's also showing up. If somebody else gets a procedure, somebody else doing something really excessively exciting or curious, sometimes other people want to do it too. It's like, how'd you do it? I want to do exactly what you've done. So we just basically want to know also about those people. How are they tricking life? In Scorpio this year, we are looking at tricksters. We're looking at people that can trick life into doing whatever they want. So we're looking at Lilith next to Mars, next to Mercury. We do sometimes want to talk about it too. Like, how did you do it? Like, what procedure have you done? Or like, how did you make it this far? I'm one of those people, definitely. I'm one of those people that has done, certain extremes in my life and, conquered certain mountains by having shortcuts or, using different methods, so for example, dieting is one of those things, cleansing is definitely one of those things, like a body hack, certain exercise routines and such. Sometimes people have a lot of them. They have a whole arsenal of things that they have done to trick time. And I would really suggest not to go there. I think it's not just about one day of cleansing and then getting your result. It's not just about going to the doctor and getting a procedure overnight and then walking out of the office with a different look or a different body. It's a very, very hard thing to tell people and teach them. Things don't happen over a short amount of time. They happen sometimes over lifetimes. Certain things that we are looking at today, certain attainment, certain also issues that we're looking at today that took ages. Some people took ages to perfect themselves, and also some people took ages to undo themselves. And here we have it. We have a long-time result. We have things that families have done even for centuries. We have people that have done things a certain way for thousands of years. And where I'm kind of going with this is that some of the time, it's not that like we can't judge it as just like we can't help ourselves but decide that this is something that we want to solve or get into over just a couple of days. It's like, I want to know what you're doing and I want to do the same thing and I want to get in there. Come on. Now I'm understanding that picking locks and doing quite extreme things is part of the trickery of Lilith being next to Mars, but let's try to be humble and helpful, and the best I can probably do for you is just to do the best you can and being calm and careful and not doing anything out there, not doing anything outlandish, not jumping from one thing to another unless you are a known expert at it, and doing absolutely nothing also that has to do with copying other people's moves or being one of many people that are dubbed under the one blanket, you know. So definitely protests are kind of a no-no during this time for most individuals, unless you're naturally decisive like that and as part of your nature. Definitely, you know, like skipping things, going in one direction or the other. It's very, very hard for me to talk about this, but certain people are just simply not prepared, and they don't have it all together. They don't have all their pieces together enough to really afford certain experiences or to suddenly try at new things, you know. So although it's a new moon and it does have a lot of wonder, Mars next to Lilith, Mercury speeds up our potential and potency, and we just want to cry out, what's not fair? Why don't I get to do this? I want to do this. You know, we just have to be kind of a bit better at it, and we have to weigh up everything before we do it. We have to weigh up, and we have to wait. We have to make plans that actually make sense, and we also have to be in a very nice common commute. As something I said, some people definitely have to be with somebody to survive certain things, and some of us just have to be very well organized, very well planned. So if you are a soul ranger during this time and you know a lot about yourself and about your existence and life on planet Earth, you'll probably do a very good job of it during this time. You probably set everything up correctly. And some people that do not have the expertise and they're not very balanced will have to do it with a bunch of people. They'll have to count entirely on their loved ones, so somebody in their family, or they will have to do it alone, but better next time. But this time you'll have to have a minder or somebody that basically holds your hand through it. So it kind of depends. I feel that the universe is very wise and very unique during this time. We do have this amazing trine between water signs. There is a very, very different fact though going on than the one that you know. So sometimes you don't know like how the universe pivots it, how the waters of time, how the seas, you know, how the universe, how the great body of energy pivots this is sometimes not within your liking or within your doing, and sometimes it can also work in your advantage. So we are working with also the unseen worlds during this time. We don't want to pivot them exactly. We don't want to pivot them correctly. We don't want to say, yeah, I am the only king, the solo performer in my life, and I'm the only one that makes things matter. It's better off to be this way sometimes for some people, as you know, stupidity and ignorance are also part of the plan for the greater world. Sometimes people are kind of naturally made a little bit silly, like stupid and presumptuous, because they're kind of like part of the program, they're part of the scheme for somebody else. So sometimes it also pays to be stupid, sometimes being naive and having a lot of naivety to oneself and wanting things more abundantly or more emotionally or more ecstatically than they're naturally able to be is absolutely okay. And this is actually one of the traps of snake. Yet again, it will always lead you to wisdom. So what I basically also want to know myself is whether or not things are worthwhile or not. This is the opposite sign to Aries, Libra, the tail end of Libra, and we want to know. It's like, I want to know like how I can take things to the limit. I want to know if I can be magic too. I want to know if I can do things in a better way. The better choice I have for you is relax and only know your own soul and your own timeline and your own destiny. So you maybe need some time alone, and the best I've also ever done is just count the steps, all the steps that I've taken in my life. Know where you have an actual severe plan, like plan or plans that have been lasting your whole life. Know where you are naturally backed up by fact, by your parental line, by your previous achievements or involvements, and also know where you're not. So kind of you have to know where you are and are not available to act or to be or to structure, where you have a natural born talent that you have tested and tried, where you have a natural born fact, and where things have accomplished or become something already after a while, and also where you don't. So you have to know your strengths and weaknesses, and also understand where you are way out of your depth, simply because you just have to look this in the face. And it's not about judging yourself, although I feel that some people out in the world would consider this judgment, and it's considered very rude, like how dare you tell me what I can and cannot do. Yet again, I'm also going to say you need to consider fact and have the wisdom of the time spent and the time now. You have to really match up the whole program. You have to match up your mind, body, and spirit, and your previous experiences, and sometimes experiences of your ancestors, and just your life journey to know which way from here, simply because you have to be very, very aware and awake, not to do sometimes what certain people are doing and just make a complete fool of themselves and then eventually just ask, why did this happen? So we just have to be very sure and secure, when it comes to things like surgery, long distance travel, immigration, any kind of a big change or motion, anything to do with big money spent or gone, anything to do with marriage, anything to do with large resolutions and big gifts as well, that come through as well, because we are working with clunky giant architecture. For some people, we are looking at families, we are looking at money, we're looking at long-term living plans, we're actually definitely looking at destinies. We're looking at destinies during this time, which is quite a hard yard for some people, some individuals. We're looking at long-term commitments and marriages, and we shouldn't just take this like a gift. And also notice, like, some things are going to be given and distributed. Don't take it for granted. Some things definitely do deserve a bow. Certain people, certain places do definitely deserve a lot more kindness than they're getting. So we do have to define the husk from the grain and what really is necessary today and what needs our time and attention, what needs our love and sharing and leaning and kindness and generosity and honey, and also what does not. So I'm definitely feeling like we need to know husk from grain, recognize temporary or pedestrian experiences and behavior, understand chaos and diversion for what it is, and things that are not needed or that are just not conscious today, and also realize where we want to really massage and display, or where we want to involve and enjoy. So the realities that we're given during this time are not all the same. Not everything has the same quality or the same discernment. Not everybody is a good quality friend or a best quality partner. We really need to know that by now, like what is true, what has some juice to it, like what has certainty and fidelity, and what has a certain type of strength, a certain type of density to it in a good way, in a healthy way, and also what doesn't. So we are looking for quality, we're looking for density, we're looking for deepening, we're looking for things that actually make sense eventually down the track. As you get older, we want things to stay around, we want people to stick around, we want things to be not tired eventually anymore, we want things to grow, and even if it's a simple base plan, it should really matter to us during this time. So we're looking for things that matter, we're looking for people that will stick around, we're looking for relevant results, we're looking for well-built and secure individuals, we're looking for things that are going to eventually be there when we're old. Sometimes we'll meet people during this time that we will come back to years later, and that will always be a reference in our minds, or that will always somehow stay a friend. So this is about things that matter most, and also sometimes things that have to be forgiven and released. It's like, oh God, I keep on forgetting, like I make plans with this person, I always forget. Just stop it, just relax. Or for example, I know that I'm meant to do this and this, but like every time I try, like I can't concentrate and I don't know what happens to me. So when you are leaving this world to participate with anything or anybody, and you have to be neither here nor there. Also notice where you have to forget your brain and be kind of ditzy and silly, like to be there, like you have to dumb yourself down so much to afford to be in the experience. Don't. Try to go back to your root system and what you really deserve, because we all deserve health, peace, safety, affluence, wealth, connections, good solid family networks, nice schools, nice communities, nice commitments, nice experiences, and hopefully good solid nature, timelines that we can share with people that mean something to us, and we want to be in a good solid body, maybe a good solid body of people, and a good solid place where you love to be, and where you would like to see more years spent of your life. So we are looking for sustenance, and we are also looking for dependencies during this Libra new moon, but it has to be from the very, very best. So if you were your ancestor and the wishes you can imagine that you would send to you, what is the very best, greatest wish that you could send to yourself today? what is the best quality type of life that you would wish upon yourself and your young ones, and how do you feel also about doing things in a more wholesome, in a more gorgeous, in a more expanded, worthwhile, in a more valuable, in a more certain and a more historic way. And where would you also eventually find the hope and the peace that you need, that we all need, especially as we get on with life, as we get older in life. So thank you very much. I hope that you have good, solid, balanced energy distribution during this particular time. And I wish all the best to you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.